Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. It's mailbag time here. If you're wondering, wait a minute, how do I get my questions on the show? You got to join us when we go live every single Tuesday. And today's mailbag presented by Panda Sups, 25% off. Use code Raiders on the best workout supplements on the market. I love their brand new protein. I'm also a big fan of their burn supplement. I'll tell you more about it here in a little bit. Pandasups.com. Let's go to Mario. Will Levis or Calijah Kancey to the Raiders. I mean, honest to God, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, they scare the hell out of me. Calijah Kancey is my favorite overall prospect this year. When we were doing mock drafts 2 months ago, I was begging people to take Kancey in the second round. We were getting him in the third round like every mock that we ended up doing. I believe the thing that helps out this team the most, because Will Levis isn't going to play this year, it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. And I honestly don't even want them to groom a Will Levis when you have a chance to get the great quarterbacks in next year's class. I'll take trading back, because I actually think that you could trade back and still get Calijah Kancey. I'd actually rather him at defensive tackle. He might be the top DT with all this BS going on around Jalen Carter. Let's go to Joel. Josh McDaniels took over a team. I mean, there's a lot of people that are wondering, okay, do you let him continue to do his thing? My biggest problem, and I hear what you're saying, you got to see what happens after the draft. I hear what you're saying after training camp. You're not going to really know what this Raiders team looks like until the season actually gets underway. The reason why I'm always hesitant is because the Patriot way has never worked without Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, we need to be able to take that into consideration. The Patriot way has never worked without Tom Brady. Let's go to Hellcat Q. Why don't the Raiders keep Perryman? He's a Raider. A lot of injury concerns. He's bad in coverage. I get that he's coming off probably his best year. It's probably not even probably. It's the best year of his career as a coverage linebacker. He also wants to get paid. Like, he knows he's getting up there in age. And I think what the Raiders are hoping that they can do is maybe still try to bring him back. I'll tell you this right now, though. I'll take Denzel Perryman at 2 years, $9 million over Robert Spillane any day of the week. Let's go to Pax_Drake. Thoughts on taking Tanner Mckee in the draft? I mean, I just don't like Tanner Mckee. Like, to me, he's not that good of a quarterback. If he's available in the fourth round, sure, but there's some people that are like second round, third round. I don't want to just say this because it's the Stanford comp, but to me, like, I just look at him and I see Davis Mills. And if Davis Mills is the answer, then sorry, I think you're taking the wrong test personally. I get he's a tall quarterback. He's got the big arm. It's like Mike Glennon, Davis Mills is just what screams out to me when I watch Tanner Mckee. Could he be a good fit in the McDaniels system? Sure, but if that's your answer, you're not going to like the results. I don't think that he's worth it. But how about this? Go down in the comments right now. Let's say Tanner Mckee, he's on the board in round 2. Would you want the Raiders to take him? Type D for draft or type P for pass. If this is round 2, I'm passing every single day of the week. I actually don't even think it's all that close to me. Even if he's in the third round, pick 70, pick 100, I'm still going to pass. There will be some people that fall in love with Mckee. I'm simply not going to be one of them. Let's go to Julian. Yo, brother Mitch, what does our defensive depth chart look like? The Raiders have done a good job trying to add cheap depth, which I do respect because this team needs the cheap depth. They also have done a good job adding special teams. Depth is one thing. What scares me is the starters because this Raiders defense has gotten worse. And the fact that they've gotten worse from last season scares the hell out of me, obviously. Let's go to Chris B. Stockpile picks and talent and do what you must to grab Caleb Williams. I would say if you want to ensure that you're going to get Caleb Williams, you got to finish as the worst team in the NFL. You either got to finish as the worst team in the NFL or you probably got to stockpile 2 or 3 first-round picks because if I'm a team next year, you saw how much Carolina had to give up to get the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. If I'm a team holding the number 1 overall pick and Caleb Williams and Drake May are there, I'm asking for a lot more than what Carolina gave up. I'm asking for at least 3 first-round picks if you want to go up and get Caleb Williams. So, to me, the only way that you're ensure that you get him is if you're at number 1. Because also, if I'm an NFL team and my quarterback I don't think has top 10 potential, there's a chance I say, see you later, I'm going to take Caleb Williams. Let's go to Daniel Caps Keenan. Mitch, My kid watched your Darren Waller replacement video. He asked me if that is how you act or if you were lit. Let's just say you got a new fan to the channel, bro. Yeah, I would say that I was... Imagine the sun on a hot summer day at noon and you just look up at it. Think of like that SpongeBob meme, my eyes. That's how lit I was in that Darren Waller replacement video. Let's go to Mando_the Great. Do you think the Raiders trade back from number 7 or take a QB at 7? I would say there was a better chance that the Raiders trade back at 7 than taking a quarterback at 7. And it's just what this team's long-term plan is. I do think that there's a possibility they take a quarterback later on in the draft. Like maybe they use one of those third-round picks. Maybe they decide to take those 3/5, 2/6, 2/7, figure out a trade up to get another quarterback. Like that could be a very real possibility. They traded 5 times last year. So to me, better chance trading back than taking a QB at number 7. We will be live for the 2023 NFL Draft here on the Raiders Report. So I don't want you to be the guy. I don't want you to miss our awesome coverage. And I don't want you to miss all of the big-time videos that we put out on this channel. So be a smart guy. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on those noties. Let's go to Javier. Why not Calais Campbell? He's 36, 37 years old. He's also visiting a team, I want to say today or tomorrow. I know he's visiting a team, but I've actually brought up Calais Campbell before, and I don't think it's that terrible of a fit in this defense. He also has the connection with Buddy Ryan. Remember, Ryan was over there with Baltimore when Calais was there for a long time. Defensive tackle is still a big-time need. It simply comes down to how much money does he want at that age? Because for the Raiders, they're not spending big. And I do think Calais is going to want a paycheck because he's getting near the end of his career. Let's go to Chris. Why not Clowney to replace Cleveland? Because Jadeveon Clowney is going to cost a lot more money than the Cleveland furrow would have ever cost. And on top of that, there was reports last season that Clowney was purposely not trying to play on first and second down, only playing on third down to get higher sack numbers. Jadeveon has never been a player that's lived up to the hype. He has all the talent in the world. When you watch him, you know he has all the talent in the world. But he also doesn't really seem like a guy who's going to buy into the McDaniels system. He's not somebody who I want to pay $7-8 million a year for because he's never had double-digit sacks. He's actually a much better run stopper than what people give him credit for. But to me, Jadeveon Clowney is not going to be the answer. I'd rather get a Kyle Van Noy. I'd rather get another cheaper option that is a little bit more versatile. I'm not saying Van Noy is better than Clowney. I'm saying for the price and for buying in, I'd probably rather go that route. If you guys want to buy into the brand new you of 2023, best way to do it, get started with our sponsor, Panda Sups. So my guy Merbad, he's been a sponsor here on the show for almost 2 years now, so that shows you how well his products are going. But also on top of that, he's got 2 brand new flavors, which is cookies and cream, strawberries and cream. Probably my favorite thing about that strawberry protein is there's actual strawberry chunks in it, and same with the cookies one, actual cookie chunks in it as well. 30 grams of protein. It's going to fill you up the way that you need to be. Giggity. Pandasups.com. Use code Raiders for 25% off. Then on top of that, I love their burn products. If you need like a fat burner, if you need a replacement for coffee, something, I'm trying to think what else wakes you up. Energy drinks. But you also want to be able to burn some fat while you do it. Does anybody ever sit there on the couch, you got that little bit of a beer belly? Guess what? It's going to help you take a few inches off. Yeah, I know. I'm usually trying to add inches on to y'all. Now we're trying to take some inches off. 25% off Pandasups.com. Let's go to Raider Fan Goat. Is Bobby Wagner odds low now? I don't think that they were ever high. I mean, I get that there was the speculation. There was him changing his profile pic to 54 with the dice. Jermaine Illuminor tweeted at him. He liked the tweet. It just, to me, Bobby Wagner, the only way he plays with the Raiders is if you overpay him because he wants to win right now. I don't think that this Raiders team is trying to win now. I get what Mark Davis said, that this is not going to be a rebuild. Mark Davis also said that the Raiders were doing fantastic when they were 2-7. So the only way Wagner's coming to the Raiders, I believe, is if you overpay. They have yet to indicate to me that they are willing to overpay. Let's go to Ken. I would bring in Kaepernick before Newton. Ken, no disrespect. That's a terrible idea. Cam Newton is light years ahead of Colin Kaepernick. Like, Cam Ass is our 32 guys. I think that there are 60 quarterbacks better than Colin Kaepernick right now. Like, he was so bad when he was in the NFL, and that's 6-7 years ago. Colin Kaepernick, no chance, man. No chance. Hector, What's up, Mitch? Raiders signing Marcus Peters. I do think Marcus Peters is a name to keep in mind. He's an aggressive cornerback, but that's another name, though, where he wants to get the bag. Like, he was upset getting $14 million, I want to say, last season. He is an Oakland guy, so that's why I know a lot of Raider fans like him. It's just there are better options out there at corner, and again, like, to me, I would rather the Raiders take a Chris Gonzalez at number 7 and then take a pick at like 38, maybe a trade up and get a Deonta Banks. Like, this cornerback class is so deep in the draft, which is why I'm not going to overspend for a veteran corner. Is Peters good? No doubt about it. But I'm not going to overspend when I really truly believe that you can find multiple starters in this year's draft. Let's go to Raul. What up, bro? Which quarterback do you think the Raiders are most likely to draft? I'm going to go with my source, and it was the same source that told me that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the quarterback of this team, made a video around it. He told me, and this is, you probably got to go back almost a month ago, he said the number one quarterback that the Raiders like and the quarterback most likely that McDaniels is going to draft is Hendon Hooker. He got the Jimmy Garoppolo one right. Let's see if he gets the Hendon Hooker one right as well. So how about this, Hernandez? Which quarterback are the Raiders most likely to draft this upcoming season? Let me know down in the comments section right now. The more and more I think, I just don't think it's one of those top 4 guys. I think they end up taking somebody a little bit later. Maybe you can groom them, and there's still that possibility then that you have the opportunity to take another quarterback in the 2024 NFL Draft. Let's go to R41D3R918. Raider 918. Is that really what that is? I guess so. It sounds like Star Wars character, which, is that a Star Wars logo? I can't really tell from here. What's up, Mitch? Why do you take Chris Gonzalez over Devin Witherspoon in this year's draft? Much love to you and the team. I get that Witherspoon is, which people love, he's like, he can hit. To me, Chris Gonzalez is a better coverage cornerback. I will take coverage cornerback in the NFL over hard-hitting cornerback every single day of the week. On top of that, which I'll admit this, Devin Witherspoon might actually be the safer prospect, okay? He might actually have the safer floor. But if I'm going to take a corner and I'm going to take somebody in the top 10, I want a guy who's got that legit top 10, top 5 upside where, like, I love Sauce Gardner. And I remember last season, I said Sauce Gardner, number 1 cornerback in this year's class. And I had a few people that called me out on it. I stuck to my guns on that. I think Chris Gonzalez is really damn close to Sauce Gardner's upside. They're not the same prospect right now. But what makes Sauce great, he's got the swagger, but he's long, lanky, and athletic. I mean, that's everything that I look for in a corner. So for that, that's why I'll take Chris Gonzalez. Let's go to Martin. Do you think this franchise is losing its identity? I think that the Raiders right now are trying to redefine their identity because, unfortunately, the football that you were able to play in the late 70s, early 80s when the Raiders won their 3 Super Bowls, you can't play that football anymore. If you would, you get fined out the ass, right? And then you have 20 straight years, nothing but losing after Rich Gannon Super Bowl 2002. So you go 20 years. That's a very long time. To me, it's not them losing their identity. I would imagine that they're trying to find it, and that's why they brought in McDaniels. That's why they brought in Ziegler. They're trying to say, hey, can you rebuild something? And that's who Mark Davis thought was the best to do it. I disagree with it, but hey, it is what it is, right? Let's go to Santos. Jimmy G record when the defense holds to under 20 points, 25-3. Derek Carr, 28-17. It's interesting. It's great. Congrats. I don't really know what you want me to say to it. I will not sit up here and say that Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback than Derek Carr. The conversation that Raider fans need to have is Derek Carr at $34.9 million or Jimmy Garoppolo at $16.3. Which one would you rather have? I'll take Jimmy G at $16.3. I was hoping the Raiders would do a little bit more with that other $18 million that they had, but hey, it is what it is, right? If I missed your question, you can always hit me up social media, and then you can also ask me more personal questions over on Locals as well when we go live over there. I mean, realistically, there's no super chatting over there. It's you just DMing, sending the comments. I'm live. I answer them. We do mock drafts, which I believe we're going to do a mock draft this week. Depending on when you watch this, if you're watching it live, I believe it'll be on Wednesday. If you're not watching this live, you can always go back and check it out a little bit more.